Yep. So my name is Ben Bland. I'm a software developer at Innov8. I've been working here since 2021, and it was my first job as a graduate developer since leaving university, actually. I did computer science at university. Um, so it was, I mean, when I was a kid, I always loved tinkering with computers. And I remember when I was very young, my dad got his first computer, which was a tiny PC, which was ironically named because it was about the size of a small suitcase. Um, and we had it about a year, and I broke it from fiddling on with it. And just since then, it was always sort of a passion of mine of how these things worked and what went on behind the scenes. And so, yeah, I went to university to go do computer science. I got a first class honours in it. And then after leaving university, I went and worked in a factory for a couple of years when I moved down this neck of the woods. And then I went over to Innov8, which was where I first got my graduate job. Oftentimes, when you're looking for software to do a job, you have to sort of you have to move your requirements around the software that's available. So there's always a shortfall. There's always a sort of a compromise that has to be made somewhere. Whereas with us, because you get hands-on access to the development team themselves, and we often do talk to our clients. You say to us, "These are our requirements. What can you do?" And we do it for you. So there was a job a while back that I had for a client of ours, and their Sage CRM system, they had thousands and thousands of customers in it, and they just couldn't keep up to date with updating the information for them. So we wrote them a bespoke piece of software that basically took the information that was in their CRM and then cross-referenced it with Companies House, the government portal, and then just compared the information and just updated everything in their CRM automatically. So if a company moved somewhere to a new office, just immediately got changed rather than you sending letters and invoices to just complete wrong place. And they said that was a complete game changer for them. And to my knowledge, well, at least publicly available, I don't think there's another thing that can do that for CRM at the minute. There might be some, bespoke ones here or there that someone else has written, but that, to my knowledge, is the only system that can do that currently. And yeah, the reviews were glowing. I don't really have a specialism because, if anything, I would say my specialism is the ability to adapt because we have so many different clients and so many different customers, and they all have completely unique needs. That we end up working in. I mean, most people when they work in software development, they work in one language or another language. We do everything pretty much. I mean, just the other month I was working for an Android app for one of our customers, and Android wasn't something that I'd done before. But because of the fact that I'd done so many other languages and frameworks in the past, it was something I was able to just pick up immediately and just get straight into cracking on with it for them. So we're quite flexible in that regard because if you've got a very specific requirement that you need meeting, but let's say it's in an Android app or a web development app or whatever it is that you might need, we can just do it for you because we don't specifically focus on one thing. So, I mean, in the world of tech, everything's changing all the time, really. So, one day I'll be working in Angular, or one day I'll be working in Vue.js, or one day I'll be working in the newest version of React. Whatever it is that people need doing, we have the flexibility to just jump in and get to it straight away. So, my favorite in-range solution, uh, as an ex-warehouse worker, would have to be InWare. Now, before I started working at Innov8, I worked in a factory that had a pre-existing ERP system, and I won't name it, obviously, for obvious reasons, but it was just so convoluted. I mean, everything was split up. So, you'd have one system doing one thing, you'd have another system doing another thing. So when I was a machine operator, we used to have to get ingredients and stuff checked in for the machines, and we couldn't do it because the system that goods in used went down, or we couldn't get stuff onto trucks because the system that the dispatch used went down. Whereas inware, because it's all cohesive and everything's all in the same place, you don't have those worries really. And there'd be so many times that I'd be down at the case packers at the other end of the factory, and there'd be people on the forklift trucks, and they wouldn't be able to check anything in because one of the tubs way back at the other end of the factory and goods in hadn't gone through. So then they wouldn't be able to check their stuff in for dispatch because the system wasn't aligned, if that makes sense. Whereas, and like with things like real time stock picking on InWare, there'd be so many times that I'd be in the warehouse just doing donuts around trying to find a particular pallet somewhere, just because the system hadn't updated from that case that was checked in at the case packer to when it got to the warehouse. But with the real time stock picking, you don't really have that concern. So it's one of those things that actually would have been a lifesaver if I'd had that back when I was at the factory because it caused so many problems not having a system like that. My advice for a future software developer would be do it for a start. It's a great job. No day is ever the same. You're always working on new things. You're always working on interesting and fresh things. Be open minded, be willing to learn. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years now, not including the experience I had at university. And every day is still a learning day for me. Don't feel when you do start, if you get into it, that it's overwhelming, that you might have imposter syndrome or something, because no one ever knows everything in software development. It never happens. So just give yourself the credit for the things you do learn, and be excited about the things that you haven't learned yet, I would say. It's just brilliant, it's just the cohesion of the teams. I mean, obviously we have offices that are, scattered around, but everyone just feels like you've known them forever. I mean, there'll be people come over from the Stockport office to the Tankersley office, and they'll just walk in. I'll have never met them before, and within 2 seconds of meeting them, I feel like I've known them my entire life. Christmas parties are fun as well, but I don't know if you can put that in or not.